OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Outcasted OC here with your NXT review this week. And we've got a juicy show for you here, guys. We've got some returns, we've got some interesting matches, we've got some crazy angled storylines. It looks like we're getting the Ambrose Asylum coming back next week at Roadblock, even though, I mean, it's not going to be called the Ambrose Asylum, but it's essentially going to be the same thing, okay? But before we get into the video, I do just want to say, if you like what I'm about to say, make sure you hit that thumbs up and leave your comments in the comment section down below, because you know, where else would you leave it? You know, subscribe to the channel and let's get into it straight away right now, please. Ilya Dragunov calls Carmelo Hayes a rodent. He calls him a rodent human being and says to come out of his hiding place and come out here and speak to him immediately if he wants his NXT Championship match. Now, obviously, this follows last week when we heard that Carmelo Hayes said to Ilya Dragunov, the only way you're going to get me in that ring, the only way you're going to get me to talk to you is if we're talking about the NXT Championship. So obviously, Carmelo Hayes does coming down to the ring, but he ends up coming down with a load of security guards. He doesn't get in the ring and says to Ilya Dragunov, unless there's a contract there, signed by Ava, signed by you, written up for Roadblock for the NXT Championship, I ain't getting in the ring. We aren't having no more conversations. I'm going to give you till the end of the night to sort this out, Ilya Dragunov, because we need to get this back on my shoulder concerning the NXT Championship. A couple of his security guards get battered, but what I just want to touch on a couple of things that Carmelo Hayes said in this situation. He said, you may be the NXT champion, Ilya Dragunov, but there's only one person that makes this NXT brand move, and it is me. He's willing to sacrifice anybody for the NXT Championship, and it's about time that it came back to him after such a long time. So we've got to the end of the night to reach a conclusion to this. Will we get an NXT Championship contract signing at the end of the night? We will just have to see, won't we? Backstage, guys, we are seeing Ava Raine making her way towards her office when she is confronted by Gigi Dolan. And Gigi Dolan basically says, you know, she wants more opportunities. Ava says, you know, the women's division in NXT right now is absolutely huge and amazing, but we can definitely have a conversation. While she goes to her office, while Gigi is like following her to her office, Jada Parker is already in the office waiting for Ava. Ava asks, how the hell did she get in there? She doesn't answer, but she says, you know, we're talking about opportunities. I destroyed... Who did she destroy last week? Was it Fallon Henley? Oh, no, it was Rizzo. So I completely forgot who she faced last week. Anyway, she did beat Rizzo. She embarrassed her, and she's also looking for opportunities. Gigi Dolan says she was here first, but obviously Ava has a way to settle this, and that is in a match tonight. Jada Parker versus Gigi Dolan. We're going to be getting that later on tonight, guys. But first, we are going to be getting Kalani Jordan versus Kiana James. Nothing really much to say about this match, except I would say it's a long time coming, but it's really not. It's only a couple of weeks, to be fair. I thought they was really going to stretch this out a little bit more. In my opinion, I would have had Izzy Dame face Kalani Jordan first, because obviously Kiana James is kind of, you know, the teacher of Izzy Dame. You know, classic wrestling, have like the student, you know, face the big challenge first, and then maybe have Kiana James face her at Roadblock or Stand and Deliver. But no, Kiana James in this match is facing Kalani Jordan. Great athleticism from Kalani Jordan, as always, and Kiana James is able to obviously work a match to the best of her abilities. I feel like she's kind of fell off the past couple of months, Kiana James. I want to see a little bit more from her, but it is what it is, I suppose. This match ends where Kalani Jordan is on the apron and Izzy Dame throws her off the apron, like nasty landing, gets her back in the ring. Kiana James grabs her, hits the 401k for the 1, 2, 3. So Kalani Jordan has been defeated by Kiana James. You would think that would be the end of it, right? We'll just have to see about that. Something that I wish would come to an end is Roxanne Perez constantly complaining about how the world is against her. She is backstage complaining about how she wasn't in the right place at the right time last week. She was in the shower, and that is how Lash Legend was able to get the championship match that she thought she deserved. Chikara Jackson, another member of the Metaphor, walks up to Roxanne Perez and says, listen, Lash Legend was in the right place at the right time because she always stays ready and she always stays prepared. That's not her fault. That's your problem. You also always need to stay prepared. Roxanne Perez hits Chikara Jackson after making a good point. I'm not being funny. Like, again, Chikara Jackson makes a good point. The same way I believe who was it last week who also made a great point to Roxanne Perez. Everyone just gets battered. Like it's just Roxanne Perez is just not on like the right level at the moment for me. I don't understand what her character is. Her character it just seems salty. Like just go ahead and turn a heel at this point. Just do it quickly because at the moment I'm just sick of seeing her always complaining about why the whole world's against her. It's kind of like a Liv Morgan character at the moment. I'm hate to insult all the Liv Morgan fans out there, but like I'm seeing real comparisons between Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan at the moment. But was it what it is, I suppose. What do we have next, guys? Oh, we've got the OC, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Obviously, they made their way back to NXT last week versus Idris Enofe and Malik Blade. Again, not much to say about this match. Idris Enofe and Malik Blade do get a little bit of offense in, but ultimately, Gallows and Anderson hit the magic killer for the 1, 2, 3. The more interesting part happens after this. As soon as LG and Carl Anderson win this match, Chase U come out and say, we're not going to attack you from behind, but we're going to make you feel how it feels like to get attacked after their victory. Before they can get in the ring, Nathan Fraser and Axiom come out and say, congratulations on being the #1 contenders for the tag team championships, but we're the one who's going to go after the OC first, and that's just a hard-hitting home truth. Like, shut up. Please shut up. Uh, the end of this comes where basically some other tag teams come out and they all start fighting. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows manage to get out of the ring and get to the ramp while the other tag teams are in the ring. While this is going on, Baron Corbin and Bron Breakker make their way out and just have a look at what's going on in the tag team division. Obviously, the new champs surveying the tag team scene, see if there's anything interesting going on, to see if there's anything that they need to be concerned with. But we will see more of them later on tonight. We now go back to Ava Rain's office. She's busy tonight. She's having to write up that contract. She's had Gigi Dolan and Jada Parker in her office so far. And now she's got Oba Femi, who is asking Ava who his next victim is going to be for the NXT North American Championship. Ava turns around and says to him, there's quite a lot of contenders that want to challenge you, so I'll get back to you on that. Oba Femi says, there always is a lot of challenges until they realize what they've gotten themselves into. Whoever it's going to be, he's going to destroy them. As he goes to leave, Ilya Dragunov is there, and they have a quick little stare down to Obafemi and Ilya Dragunov. Obafemi smiles and walks away. Now, that is something I'm interested in seeing maybe in the future. Obafemi versus Ilya Dragunov for a championship? Yes, please. I love Obafemi at the moment. Obviously, he needs to work on what he's working on. Like he's only he's had like less than 10 matches, so it is what it is. You need to let him grow. And Ilya Dragunov is Ilya Dragunov, so why wouldn't I want to see that match? We now go to the ring where we have Roxanne Perez versus Jakara Jackson. Referee throws Lash Legend out of the arena for trying to get involved. This doesn't bode well for Jakara Jackson, who doesn't last very long after this, while Roxanne Perez gets her in the crossface and she taps out. Another win for Roxanne Perez. I don't know what they're building to. Maybe they're building to stand and deliver. Who knows? Hopefully she'll be healed by that point. But I love the metaphor. I think they're doing great work on NXT at the moment. Everyone in NXT at the moment, concerning the metaphor, is doing a great job. We now go backstage again to Riley Osborne. Apparently he has friend zoned Thea Hale. Apparently after what happened at the Valentine's date, Riley turned around to Thea Hale and said maybe, they're better off just being friends, because the Thea Hale that turned up to that Valentine's Day isn't the same Thea Hale that he liked. JC Jane calls the old Thea Hale a loser. Not the one now. She likes the one now. But the old one was a loser, so maybe she needs to just get over it. An interesting part here comes where Kiana James walks up to JC Jane and compliments her on how many calendars that was sold. Sold out 3 times, apparently. She wants to hear more about these calendars, so her and JC Jane go off for a little conversation. Do you remember like a year or so ago where Kiana James was looking into the developmental and the grounds of Chase University? Maybe this is a follow-up on it. Is she still trying to invest into Chase U? Is she still trying to take the land off Chase U? And is JC Jane the woman here to help her do that? We will find out. JC Jane, possibly a saboteur from the inside of Chase University, as she calls the rest of them losers. And if it wasn't for her, Chase U would be a distant memory. I mean, she's kind of right, to be fair. Like, she is the one who saved Chase U with all the calendar sales. So, you can't really argue. You can't really argue about that part, I suppose. We now go to, where do we go to? Let's have a look. Oh, So the Wolf Dogs, this is what I was talking about before. The Wolf Dogs are having a conversation with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson backstage. But before LG and Anderson get there, Bron Breakker is talking about maybe airbrushing. This is funny. He's talking about maybe airbrushing Baron Corbin's leather jacket, and Baron Corbin says about this isn't like Bash at the Beach 1996. I ain't airbrushing nothing. Bron Breakker calls him pale, and this is when the OC show up and basically, call out Bron Breakker and Baron Corbin for an NXT Tag Team Championship match if they manage to get past Chase University. They do have an interesting conversation here where they're talking about how Baron Corbin has had his career revitalized ever since he came back to NXT. Ever since, that happened, he's been kicking ass, and now he's obviously the Dusty Cup winner, and he is an NXT Tag Team Champion. Bron Breakker is doing absolute bits at the moment in English terms, or in American terms, should I say. That means he's been doing a lot of good things. Bron Breakker obviously making a tremendous impact on SmackDown, and obviously he's been doing great in NXT ever since he arrived. I'm looking forward to seeing the OC versus the Wolf Dogs. That is going to be an amazing, amazing match. I cannot stress enough how much I want to see that match. Mainly just because I want the OC back on my television screen, please. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, can we get maybe a little bit of like justice for the OC not being on TV since about August, I think it was. I think it was like August, like 2023 was their last TV match on SmackDown, which is insane. I think the last match that I saw was Carl Anderson taking on Solo Sikoa, maybe, or Jimmy Uso. Do you remember after Solo Sikoa injured AJ Styles after before going into Fastlane? Yeah, I feel like that's how long ago it was. Like, absolutely ridiculous, man. Can't believe it. Speaking of something that's weird and ridiculous, we next match we get Luca Crucifino, the Legal Eagle versus Dijak, Captain Justice himself. This stems from last week where Luca Crucifino was trying to convince Dijak to let Joe Gacy go because it was against the law to imprison him. Obviously, at this point, Joe Gacy has been in prison for 2 weeks. Dijak has had him in a straitjacket in a glass cell for 2 weeks, and Luca Crucifino was trying to convinced, like I say, Dijak to release him because it was against the law. Dijak says, he violated my laws. Luke says that's not how the world works. But apparently this constitutes a match. I thought they were both heels, but it is what it is, I suppose. Nothing really interesting about the match, to be honest with you, except there's a point at the start where Dijak is like, putting a beating on Luca, and Luca just like fights back immensely and hits him with a super hard shot that sends Dijak careening over the announce table, which was really, really cool to see. But like I say, not really much to say about the match. Obviously, it ends with the feast your eyes for the 1, 2, 3. Luca putting up a really, really good fight. But after this, Joe Gacy managed to make his way down to the ramp. He's still in the straitjacket, but somehow he's managed to escape the cell. I don't know how he's done that, but it it looks like it's not over between Joe Gacy and Dijak. Now that he's free, he's going to be looking to find some revenge on Dijak, I suppose. Backstage, we are looking at Tony D and Stacks, who are watching this match with great interest. And Tony D tells Stacks to go and get Luca because he wants a word with him. Not right now, because he's got a lot more busy things to deal with tonight. We find out what goes on with that later on tonight. But he does want a word with Luca Crucifino. I like how that is sort of intertwined because, like I said, I feel like Luca should be in the D'Angelo family. He is like the legal eagle. He could be Tony D's consigliere. Because Stacks is the underboss, and Rizzo is I don't really know what Rizzo is. She's kind of just there, but I do like her, so um the metaphor are backstage now talking about Noam Dar is talking about how he doesn't really care who he is going to face out of the No Quarter Catch crew. It could be the new guy, Miles Borney is referring to there. He's Uncle Damon, Daddy Gulak, or I can't remember what he calls. I can't remember what he calls Charlie Dempsey. I think it's like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory or something like that. But Noam Dar doesn't care. Either way, he's going to retain his Heritage Cup later on tonight. I love the metaphor. I do think Noam Dar is absolutely amazing. I really want him on the main roster. I want the rest of the metaphor on the main roster at some point, hopefully soon. I just want to see more of him because they're absolutely fantastic. We now go to the ring where Lyra Valkyria is in the ring and she asks Tatum Paxley to come out. Before she does this, she does give Shotzi and Lash Legend their flowers, saying they did absolutely amazing in the match that the two title matches that were last week. But obviously she is still NXT champion, and that is what she guaranteed. But like I said, she asked Tatum Paxley to come out. Tatum is so excited to be out. Like obviously she wasn't allowed to come to the ring with her last week. She is like pretty much borderline insane at the moment, Tatum Paxley. She is professing her undying devotion to Lyra Valkyria. Lyra managed to calm her down and says, "You're surprised? What I promised you last week is this. Next week at NXT Roadblock, me and you are going to be challenging for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against the Kabuki Warriors." So that's going to be a pretty decent match. I'm excited to see. I mean, I don't know about Tatum Paxley. I don't really know really what she's going to be, provide towards that match. I mean, she's going to be the weak link, I suppose. Like, I know that's kind of harsh to say, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Lyra and Asuka and Kairi Sane in that match. So that's going to be cool. I'm not saying like Tatum Paxley can't pull a weight in the ring. I'm just saying, out of the four people, she's not the best. We now get Ridge Holland, who interrupts Lyra and Tatum and pretty much tells him to go away and get out of the ring with the, all due respect. And when I saw Ridge Holland coming out to the ring, I was like, who cares, dude? Like, he's still trying to justify himself. No one even knows what he's talking about. Who cares? We all know that Gallus were attacking you. You fought back with a chair. That is not a bad thing. Stop trying to push a narrative that you're just doing what you were doing. Like, that's not the real you. And everyone's just like, who gives a crap, dude? I'm sorry, like I don't understand what the whole narrative is here. Anyway, the lights go out. We get a bit of dialect on the screen. I can't remember what it says. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's not the important part. Okay, the lights go out. The lights go out, and then there's a spotlight behind Ridge Holland. There's a man stood there with a chair. He absolutely cracks him across the back with the steel chair. The hood is there. I think some of the crowd members know who it is. We get a little chant of 10, 10, 10. The hood comes down. Who is it back in WWE returning to NXT? It is none other than the chairman, Shawn Spears. And just to clarify, we're not talking about Ty Dillinger, because I went on the WWE YouTube channel before. I had a little bit of a gander, and he is identified as Shawn Spears. He's the chairman back. He's brought that character. He has brought that gimmick from AEW, and it looks like he's been able to keep it. So that's all well and good. I'm happy for that. Later on in the night, Shawn Spears says that he likes Ridge Holland. He likes him, but that wasn't the true Ridge Holland in that ring. And hopefully that crack across the back, the pain shooting through his spine, really awakens the true Ridge Holland. And then he turns around to the camera and says, "I'll see you at Roadblock." I'm excited to see what Shawn Spears is going to be doing in NXT. But let me know what you think in the comments, guys, of Shawn Spears returning to NXT. Getting all kerfuffled, guys. I'm so sorry. Subscribe to the channel. It's great content. Next, guys, I don't really want to move on from that, because I feel like there's more to talk about with Shawn Spears. But I want to see more of him already. Do you ever get that feeling where, like, I want to see more of him already, and I don't have anything else to say about him. I just have to wait till next week, because I feel like he was underutilized in AEW. Peyton Royce tweeted out saying, homecoming, which was really cool. They're expecting their second child, apparently, which is dope. Cody Rhodes, which is funny because he also tweeted saying just 10, just the number 10. Obviously, the whole chairman gimmick came from that crack across the back of the head that Shawn Spears gave to Cody Rhodes all the way back. I believe it was on like the first episode of AEW Dynamite. So it's going to be interesting to see what Shawn Spears does in WWE. I really can't wait. I am honestly ecstatic to see Shawn Spears back in WWE. He was always one of my like sort of under favorites. Like I was just waiting for him to break out. He never really got that chance in WWE. He was like US champion for like a short amount of time. So hopefully we can see more of it in this run. Moving on, we get Brooks Jensen. He confronts Obafemi and says he wants to be the next person to challenge for the North American Championship. Obafemi says, just because you had a match with Josh Briggs and now you think you're this big tough guy again doesn't mean I won't break you. So be careful what you wish for. Brooks Jensen versus Obafemi. Not the match that I really want to see. I don't really care. But if they want to give it us, then let's just see how that goes, I suppose. We get Clelly, God, what is wrong with my speaking? Kelly is trying to interview Carmelo Hayes backstage. She is allowed through. All the security guards part the ways so she can talk to Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes basically says the same thing again. Listen, if there's no contract, then there's no Mello. I want to see a contract by the end of the night. That is the only way I'm getting in that ring with Ilya Dragunov. So once again, let's see if we do get that contract at the end of the night. Next, we go back to the ring where we've got Lexis King versus Von Wagner. A match again. This is a bit of an ongoing thing tonight in NXT, guys, where not really much happens in the matches until the main event. Von Wagner is getting beaten down by Lexis King throughout this match, to be honest with you, which was it was a bit of a weird take, if I'm being honest. But yeah, Lexis King is working on the knee all the way through this match. However, near to the end of this match, Robert Stone gets on the apron and distracts Lexis King. He does get punched in the face for his efforts, but however, he gets turned around, Lexis King straight into a roll up for the 1-2-3, and Von Wagner wins this match. But Lexis King is not happy about this. He starts beating down Von Wagner. Robert Stone tries to come to the aid of Von, but he also gets the coronation. Lexis King comes out on top against both of these. It is not over between Stone, King, and Von Wagner. I don't know how I feel about that. Every time I see Von Wagner on my screen, I love it. But at the same time, that means I have to deal with Lexis King. So, how do I take that? I don't know how I'm going to take that. We now go backstage to Lara Valkyria, and they're talking about the Kabuki Warriors, talking about how much of, fierce opponents they're going to be. The fact that, Asuka was undefeated for such a long amount of time. The fact that Kairi Sane is just a formidable opponent in her own right, to be fair. They are the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions, not on this run, but on the previous run. So they've got a lot of work to do. Ariana Grace shows up and basically says, "Why are you fighting the Kabuki Warriors? I don't understand why you're fighting the Kabuki Warriors. There's no need for this. Why is violence so necessary?" And Lara Valkyria is basically just like, this is NXT, this is WWE, this is wrestling. Of course, we're gonna solve our differences with fighting. Like it's the normal, like how else are you supposed to solve your differences in a wrestling company, Ariana? She's left by herself after getting a crown insulted, and she's just absolutely shocked about what Jada Parker says. Oh yeah, Jada Parker is also there, by the way, just to let you know. And she says, it's only normal until we change it. And she's talking about how we solve things with words. I don't know what to do with Ariana Grace, but like somehow she manages to pull it off, Ariana. Like just like her attitude, her promo ability. I love Ariana Grace. I just think she's absolutely fantastic. She's really good. We stay backstage now where Dijak is getting shouted at by Ava. We're seeing this from the point of view of Joe Gacy was holding a camera, like spying on him. I don't know how Dijak does not see Joe Gacy approaching him, like because he's talking at the same time, but he's also wearing a white straitjacket. God damn it. Dijak says he did Ava a favor by throwing him into the dumpster. This can't keep happening, Ava says. Gacy runs at Dijak and they both start fighting again. So again, this is far from over, but Ava is shouting at both like, this can't keep happening. You're going to have to settle this. And this is how the Asylum match comes to be next week on Roadblock. We are getting like I said, it's like an Ambrose Asylum match. Both of them have tweeted out after this match. They've both been watching Dean Ambrose matches. I'm surprised that they're allowed to talk about Dean Ambrose. Dijak said he watched the Ambrose Asylum, and Joe Gacy tweeted a picture of him and Ambrose in CZW from a couple of years ago. So, like they're allowed to talk about him, apparently. We were getting a match where Jada Parker is facing Gigi Dolan. Again, not much to say about this match, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. The most interesting part at the end of this is where Ariana Grace comes out and basically distracts Gigi Dolan, saying, we need to solve our problems with words, like etc., which costs Gigi Dolan the match. After this match, like Gigi Dolan is just like sat in the corner, contemplating her life because ever since Toxic Attraction, she's been awful. I don't know if that's what she's thinking, but that's what I'm thinking. And while this is going on, Ariana Grace is just like, we need to solve this with words. Come on, Gigi. we need the strength to solve it as women. And Gigi's just like sat there like thinking like obviously just please go away. Jesus Christ. But now guys, we go to the match of the night. We are getting the Heritage Cup match. Noam Dar versus one of the members of the No Quarter Catch crew. All of the NQCC get in the ring, and the person to challenge Noam Dar is Charlie Dempsey. And let me tell you guys, this is an absolutely fantastic match. In round one, we get a first fall for Charlie Dempsey. I don't even know how they did this, how they did this pin. Um, Charlie Dempsey goes for a backslide, but as he hits the backslide, he kind of like flips his legs over into a pinning motion, like, to get more leverage on the pin. And he gets the first pin in the first round. He is up on Noam Dar. I didn't notice this in the match at first, but in a replay, it shows that Damon Kemp attacked Noam Dar, got a cheap shot in on Noam Dar after the bell in round one. Round two and three, guys, just absolutely technical masterpiece from both of these guys. Great in ring work. None of them can get the best of each other. Getting arm bars, getting triangle chokes involved, get a Fujiwara armbar, get a leg a knee bar, should I say, getting an ankle lock. Both of these guys are just absolutely going at each other. Charlie Dempsey hitting the submission moves. To be fair to Noam Dar, he is also hitting great, amazing submission moves. A little bit more of a speed game though from Noam Dar. Going into round four. Um, it looks like it's going to be even once again, but Noam Dar is able to hit the Nova Roller on Charlie Dempsey as he starts to get a little bit gassed out for the 1, 2, 3. It looks like Charlie Dempsey is getting a bit, tired. Like I say, gassed out. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to make it into round five and round six. Noam Dar looks to have this in the bag, except for in round five. All the members of the NQCC get on the apron. Obviously, Noam Dar is trying to fight them all off. He knocks them all off the apron, but then Charlie Dempsey is able to hit a suplex bridge for the 1, 2, 3, becoming the new Heritage Cup champion. I'm really happy about this, to be fair. I mean, obviously, Noam Dar, I don't know what they're going to be doing with him after he's lost the Heritage Cup, but they will have something interesting for him, I guarantee it. Maybe moving into a North American Championship feud with Obafemi in the future. Maybe, facing the No Quarter Catch crew for for the Heritage Cup again, but I don't think he should go for that. There's, greener pastures on in the future for Noam Dar. Hopefully, I would like to see him in the NXT title picture. I would like to see him in the North American Championship title picture. Either one of those, maybe even a tag team title run with Aura Mensa. But yeah, Charlie Dempsey is the new Heritage Cup champion, guys. This is going to be interesting. We're finally getting somewhere with the No Quarter Catch crew. It's about time this happens. Like, all four members of this team are absolutely fantastic. Your Damon Kemps, your Drew Gulak, your Charlie Dempsey's, and your Miles Bourne. All of these guys, hopefully now, will have a platform to show off how good they really are. So I'm very, very excited for that. I wasn't expecting the title change, to be honest with you, but we get it. So fantastic. We now go to the main event segment, guys, where Ilya Dragunov is waiting in the ring for the contract signing with Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes makes his way down with all of his security team, and he gets in the ring and basically says in a way, in a different way, what he said last night, that he capitalizes on situations. He's just a little bit more cold than Ilya Dragunov, and Ilya Dragunov is a little bit salty about how he was framed by Carmelo Hayes. Still, Carmelo is talking about it's going to be sweet to have the NXT Championship back around his waist, as it's been such a long time since he's had it. Before he can sign the contract, however, Tony D'Angelo makes his way to the ring. He gets in the ring and he says, Ilya Dragunov, you're the champion. Carmelo Hayes, you're a very talented guy, but there's only one Don of NXT, and I can make things move in this brand. Ava gets up from her seat, allowing Tony D'Angelo to sit down. And he turns around to Ilya Dragunov and says, I'm an honest guy. I'm coming for the NXT Championship. And at Roadblock, Carmelo Hayes is still trying to talk over Tony D'Angelo. Tony D'Angelo just shouts him down and says, don't speak while I'm talking. And Melo, he settles down. He settles down. He carries on talking to Ilya Dragunov and says, Ilya, NXT Roadblock, this contract is not for the NXT Championship. It is a match between me and Carmelo Hayes. The winner of that match will face you at Stand and Deliver for the NXT Championship. Carmelo Hayes is not happy about this situation. He calls himself the Don of NXT. D'Angelo gets up, pushes Ilya Dragunov out the way, and gets slammed through the table by Carmelo Hayes. which was a weird ending. I really thought there was going to be more of a fight than that, but maybe they were running out of time. Yeah, Carmelo Hayes just Aggies D'Angelo through the table. He signs the contract and then he throws the championship at Ilya Dragunov to end the show. But what do you think about this, guys? What do you think about Tony D'Angelo getting into the championship picture? Let me know what you think of that in the comments. What did you think of NXT as a whole this week? Also, leave your thoughts in that comment section below. If you like this video, like I just said, guys, make sure you leave a thumbs up. If you got anything to say, if you've got your own opinions on how NXT is going to be going for the next couple of weeks until we get to Stand and Deliver, make sure you leave that in the comments as well. I love conversations. I love to have conversations with you guys on my TikTok and on YouTube. Speaking of TikTok, you can follow Outcasted OC on TikTok, on Instagram, on X/Twitter, and of course here on YouTube. Make sure you check out the Monday Night Raw review from Courtney yesterday. Make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow because we're going to be having an Elimination Chamber recap podcast. Make sure you stay tuned for that. On Saturday morning, we're going to be having the SmackDown review, of course, coming to you every single week. But guys, hopefully, I'm excited to cover AEW Revolution. Hopefully one of us can either live stream it or cover it for you guys. It'd be really, really cool to see. Like I said, though, guys, all that content waiting for you to watch on the channel right now. Thank you so much for 510 followers on TikTok, by the way. But for now, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic Wednesday. I'll catch you later tomorrow for the podcast. Peace out, guys.